Hello students, welcome to FS Cloud.
We have an app called Careers Cloud which you can go and download it from the Play Store. So after downloading it, you can easily log in using your Gmail ID. Once you have logged in, you will be redirected to a home page which contains 4 tabs beneath it. One is Home, the other is All Courses, next is My Courses, and the last one is a Doubt Session. So under All Courses, you can access various types of courses like Reasoning, Quant, English, and also exam specific courses can also be accessed under this All Courses. If you click this Crack Current Affairs, you will be redirected to this page. So under this, you can see various tabs that are available. So here, if you see, the current affairs will be available in English medium, this under Hindi medium, and here banking awareness, we will provide you the monthly compilation of the banking news and current affairs exam PDF, and also special current affairs, which includes mainly the budget, the union budget, the economic survey, which is very important from the exam perspective. And this is topic wise content where that topics news related to the specific topic, they will be combined together and provided to you. For example, see appointments. All the appointments in that particular month will be combined together in a specific place. And similarly, in case of banking, economic news, so all will be combined together. So this will be easy for you to relate to each other news. Next, you can access the daily current affairs on a daily basis, weekly basis, and also on a monthly basis. So after reading the weekly or the daily news, you can also attend our quiz in order to strengthen your knowledge. Under the monthly current affairs, if you see, there are 2 types of PDF that are available. One is the pocket PDF, the other one is the normal PDF. This pocket PDF will give you a brief content of our current affairs, and this will provide you a detailed analysis of the current affairs. So it is always preferable to read this detailed analysis and then have a go through of this pocket PDF. Next is that we also provide you the PIB news apart from the current affairs. So you can go and access our PIB news on a daily basis from this path. And as I mentioned, this special CA covers very special topics like budgets and economic survey. After reading the content provided in this PDF, you can go and attend the quiz given below. And next is the exam perspective PDF. So if you see IBPS PO mains, IBPS RRB clerk, SBI clerk, so these are all exam perspective PDF. So if you go and check, these PDF will contain around 5 to 6 months of the current affairs, which has high chances of which are high chances of being asked in this SBI clerk mains exam. So it is very useful to go and read this PDF from an exam perspective point. Good evening. Today we will be covering July 3rd week banking and finance awareness news. Moving to the first news. The first news is completely about data. So it is about the trade data that has been released by the Ministry of Commerce and Industry. So here we will cover 2 data. One is the data of June 2025. The other is the data of the first quarter, that is April, May and June 2025. So these 2 data will be covered in detail. Okay. I know it is a lot of data. So at least try to remember the Q1 data. Q1 financial 26 at least you have to remember, and you have to remember the trend both in June 2025 and the Q1 data. So Ministry of Commerce and Industry, they have released the trade statistics for Q1 financial 26 and June 2025. So if you see the overall trade deficit, it has gone down to $3.51 billion in June 2025 and $20.3 billion to Q1 financial 26. Okay, Q1 is nothing but April, May and June. It covers these 3 months. Okay, so both the trade deficit has gone down for both June 2025 and Q1 financial 26. So we'll cover for June 2025 first. So the exports, if you see, compared to June 2024, it has increased over 6.5% to 67.98 billion. Okay, so overall exports made during June 2025 was 67.98 billion, and imports, if you see, that has also increased, but just marginally. Okay, just a marginal amount of increase was observed. So that was, if you see, 71.5 billion. So this is the difference, 3 billion that we just saw in the first slide, right? This is what is the trade deficit for June 2025. So what is trade deficit? When the import is more than the export, then we call it that the trade is a deficit trade. Okay, so here if you see, we have imported for 71 billion, 71.5 billions, but we have exported only for 67.98 billion. So around 3.5 or around 3.2 billion deficit is observed here. So now we'll cover two parts. First is the merchandise export. So merchandise means it's the goods, okay, like the computer, the chips, then the laptops, all these are goods, right? So here merchandise export, if you see, that has almost been the same compared to the June 2024. There has not been much increase, almost the same only compared to the previous year. And merchandise imports, if you see, that has reduced. Okay, so compared to the previous year, the merchandise imports has reduced. So here there is a merchandise. Here we import more than we export. So merchandise is deficit. So here we observe a merchandise deficit. Next, exports, service exports. So here services, if you see, that has increased to 32 billion, and services imports, it has also increased to 17 billion. But overall, if you see, services, they are in surplus, right? Because we are exporting 32 billion but importing just 17 billion. So which means we are surplus of 15 billion. But our overall trade is deficit. Why? That is because merchandise deficit is more than the services surplus. Okay, I'm telling it once again. Merchandise deficit is more than services surplus. That is why overall we have a trade deficit situation for June 2025. Now we are going to cover the first quarter of financial year 26. So here if you see the exports, it has grown, and first quarter we have exported 210 billion USD, and in case of imports, if you see, that has also grown to 230 billion. So here the difference is minus 20 billion. Okay, around minus 20 billion. We covered this number in the first slide itself. So there has been a trade deficit of 20 billion in first quarter 2026. So we'll cover first the merchandise. So merchandise, if you see, 112 billion, and merchandise imports, okay, exports was 112 billion and imports was 179 billion. So merchandise, it is a deficit situation. Moving to the services. Services, that has increased to 98 billion, and services imports, if you see, that has increased to 51 billion. So services, it is a surplus, right? So the main thing you have to remember here is our services are in surplus. It is the merchandise that are deficit, and the merchandise deficit is way more than the service surplus, and that is why we are in deficit. It is the case, this scenario is both in case of June 2025 and Q1 financial year 26 also. So you have to remember this trend. Okay, first deficit is there, and you have to know that services are surplus but merchandise are in deficit. So this is the main thing that you have to remember, and if possible, please try to remember the overall export. Okay, try to remember the overall export of Q1 financial 26 and overall import of Q1 financial 26. So if you see, top 5 export destinations are first USA, China, Kenya, Germany, and then Australia, and top 5 import destinations. So top 5 export destinations are these 5, and top 5 import. So we import maximum from China, followed by UAE, Ireland, USA, and Hong Kong. So please remember the top at least 3, top 3 export destination and top 3 import destination. Next news is about NABARD. So NABARD, if you see, it was established on 12th July 1982. So it has recently celebrated its 44th foundation day. Okay, you have to remember the day it was established. Very, very important. NABARD is a very important and reputed organization. So you have to remember when it was established. So we will now look into the various key initiatives that it had launched on the foundation day. First one is the Rural Tech Collab. So what is this Rural Tech Collab? This Rural Tech Collab, it is a digital open innovation platform. Okay, so this platform, if you see, it connects multiple stakeholders like startups, tech developers, and research institutes. So these many people can access, okay, and can collaborate in this platform. For what? So together they can co-create, test, or even scale solutions. And for what problems or for what challenges? For agriculture related problems or rural development, rural financial services. So relating these topics, there might be a lot of challenges that are happening, right? So regarding that, solutions can be created by these 3 entities. And for them to collaborate and contact, this platform has been initiated. Remember the name, Rural Tech Collab. Next is Nivaran. So Nivaran is nothing but an internal grievance redressal system. Okay, and for whom? This is for a bank, that is for the Rural Cooperative Bank. This grievance system has been launched, and this is also integrated with the CP Gram. CP Gram full form is Centralized Public Grievance Redress and Monitoring System, established by the Government of India. Okay, so this is also integrated with the CP Grams. Remember, Nivaran. Next is, if you see, the NABARD has also established sub-office, okay, in Leh, Union Territory of Ladakh, one of the remote regions in our country. There it has established a sub-office, and it has also launched an official WhatsApp channel. So if you know, RBI has recently launched an official WhatsApp channel, and NABARD has also now launched an official WhatsApp channel to improve the real-time communication. Next is Graduated Rural Income Program. This was also launched. Now what is this? So this, under this, if you see, under this program, the ultra poor people living in the rural area, okay, the ultra poor people, the very poor people living in the rural area, they will be given returnable grants. So what is this returnable grants? That they are grants, okay, that are provided to these people to initiate income generating activities. You either establish a small business through which you can generate income. For that, this grant will be provided, but they have to return this grant. That is why it is called as returnable grants. So after using that money, they will create some income generating activity, right? So once they have become stable, they have to return this grant. That is one thing. Next is capacity building. They will also be provided skill training, capacity training, so that they can improve their skills and find new income generating activities. So this all will be provided under this Graduated Rural Income Generation Program. Next is documentary. A new documentary was released naming Green Roots, NABARD's Journey Towards Climate Resilience. This is the name of the documentary. So basically, if you see what all NABARD has done in promoting the sustainable agriculture, in promoting the environment, overall health of the environment, what all the NABARD has done in these many years, that has been documented, and that document has been played during the event. And various key publications was also released. First is RIDF at 30, a journey of rural transformation. What is RIDF? RIDF is Rural Infrastructure Development Fund. What is this RIDF? So it is established by the NABARD. Okay, it was established by the NABARD 30 years back. The purpose is that we know that there is something called PSL. What is PSL? Priority sector lending, right? So RBI has set a target for each of the banks. For commercial bank, there is one target. For the foreign banks, for the regional rural banks, small finance bank, each have one separate target that they have to fulfill. Okay. Say suppose in commercial banks, okay, public sector bank, they have 40% target. And if they have failed to fulfill, they have only fulfilled 35%. The remaining 5% they weren't able to fulfill. That remaining 5% fund, they have to deposit in the RIDF. So if any bank is not able to fulfill their priority sector lending target, then that money, okay, the unfulfilled money, it goes into this RIDF. And there afterwards, this money is used for various other good purposes. Okay, that is what is called as RIDF. So this was established by NABARD 30 years back. Next is Gramin Bharat Mahotsav Coffee Table Book. This was also published. Next is Beyond Numbers 2025. What is this Beyond Numbers? It is nothing but a report, okay, that highlights NABARD's work across credit, climate, digital, institutional ecosystem, what all NABARD has done across these areas, that has been published. Okay, this is nothing but a report named Beyond Numbers 2025. So these are the various initiatives that were launched on the 44th Foundation.
We have launched a new course called Static Banking Awareness course. Now this course will be helpful for students who are preparing for the banking exams and for the regulatory body exams. And also recently you would have seen Paytm Bank in news frequently. So when an aspirant reads this news, he would have ample number of questions like what is a payment bank, what are the norms for it, and which is the committee that has launched it. So this Static Banking Awareness course lays a foundation to the current banking and finance news. Now you have to download our Careers Cloud to access this course. Once you have logged into our app, you can go and click this all courses icon, and then you'll be redirected to this page. In this, you have to go and click the Static Banking Awareness course, and under the details tab, you will be able to see a brief about this course. And under the part tab, it will contain all the contents, all the topics of the contents that are currently available in this course. We are working on this continuously, and this will be completed within 2 months. Under the free tab, you can go and access one content, that is the origin and development content, for free. You can go and read this content and have an idea about this course. After reading this content, do attend the quiz that is also available under the same tab. Now, our team has allocated ample amount of time and resources to curate this content. We have created this content from various books and from various verified websites. Our content is better than any book that is available in the market. This is because we update this content on a dynamic basis. For example, there are currently 39 DRTs that are available in the country now. In future, if one more DRT is created or added, then it would become 40. So we would update this content on a dynamic basis. But in case of books, you have to wait for the next publication for this updated content. Nowadays, a lot of practical questions have been asked in the banking exams. For example, how many public sector banks are available on the stock exchange? Which is the payment bank that is being listed on the stock exchange? So, we try to cover as many practical questions as possible in this course. Apart from this, we also provide you a question bank that will contain around 3000 questions and the previous year questions along with it. We also have a dedicated tab that will release the important RBI notification and the frequent news released by the RBI. You can use this code B15 to avail 15% discount. This is one of the highest discounts that we have offered until now. So do avail this code B15 while you purchase the course.
Next, we are going to cover a set of one-liner or short news. So next, if you see, the New Development Bank, also known as the BRICS Bank, now it has added 2 new members in it. So it is Colombia and Uzbekistan. So now the total members in this New Development Bank, it comes to the count of 11. Okay, so currently if you see, there are totally 11 members in this BRICS Bank. So apart from Colombia and Uzbekistan, Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, Egypt, Algeria, UAE and Bangladesh. So these are the other 9 members. So you can remember Brazil, Russia, India, China and South Africa from BRICS, right? So these 4 alone you have to remember, and this 2 that is newly been added, that is Colombia and Uzbekistan. So if you see, the president of New Development Bank is Dilma Rousseff and it is headquartered in Shanghai, that is in China. Next is the Asia Index Private Limited, which is a subsidiary of the Bombay Stock Exchange. It has launched a new BSE Insurance Index. So from the name you can see that BSE Insurance means it will have insurance companies. Okay, what is basically index? Index will have a certain group of companies. Okay, so here it is insurance index. So all the stocks under this index will be of insurance company. So from where will the insurance company be picked? It will be picked from the BSE 1000 index. So BSE 1000 index will have the top 1000 stocks. Okay, so from here only the insurance companies will be picked, and from that this BSE Insurance Index will be formed. Okay, so the base value of this BSE Insurance Index is 1000. Every index will have a base value. Okay, it may vary from 100 to 0 or something. Here the base value is 1000. Remember, the base value is 1000 and Asia Index has launched this BSE Insurance Index. Next is Kotak Mahindra Bank Limited and Indigo Airlines. Together they have relaunched, okay, remember, relaunched this co-branded credit cards powered by Indigo Blue Chip, that is Indigo's new introduced loyalty program. Okay, this Blue Chip, India Blue Chip, it is a new loyalty program of Indigo. So they have relaunched this co-branded credit cards. So what are these 2 credit cards? One is the Indigo Kotak credit card and second is the Indigo Kotak Premium credit card. So the speciality over here is that if you use these credit cards, you will earn something called blue chips, and that blue chips you can use it while booking Indigo flight bookings. Okay, while you try to book flights in the Indigo Airlines, you can redeem this blue chips, and using that you can get some discount in the Indigo flights. Okay, remember the 2 credit cards that have been relaunched, Indigo Kotak credit card and Indigo Kotak Premium credit card. The 2 partners here is the Kotak Mahindra Bank and Indigo Airlines. The next news is Groww Mutual Fund. This Groww Mutual Fund is an asset management arm of Groww. Groww is a company, and this Groww Mutual Fund comes under this Groww company. Okay, they have now launched 2 ETFs. One is the Groww BSE Power ETF Fund of Fund. Other is the Groww BSE Power ETF. So here the main difference here is fund of fund. Fund of fund means that here this money will be invested in one fund, and that fund will in turn invest in the stocks. Okay, But here in the Grow BSE Power ETF, directly the money will be invested in the stocks. That is the main difference between these two. So here invest directly in the BSE Power Index underlying companies, but here the mutual fund that invests in the units of the ETF, and that units in turn invest in various BSE Power Index underlying companies. Okay, there is a BSE Power. Just like BSE, you have a lot of variety of index. See, there is a BSE Power that will invest in power related companies, okay, that are producing power. In those companies, that BSE Power Index will be investing the money. Similarly, the BSE Power Index will be used as a reference by the Grow, and that is where they will also invest that money. Okay, so and like BSE Power, there is also BSE Healthcare, and also you have IT. So there are so many various sectors. So here the minimum investment under this is rupees 500. Next is about the penalty that has been imposed by the Reserve Bank of India. So Reserve Bank of India has imposed penalty on two banks. So one is the HDFC and the other is an NBFC, that is Shriram Finance Limited. Okay, so the penalty imposed on HDFC Bank was 4.88 lakhs and on Shriram Finance was 2.7 lakhs. Next is S&P Global Market Intelligence Platform. It has released a data. Okay, in that if you see, it has ranked India's National Stock Exchange in the 4th place. In what category? In the IPO during the first half of 2025. This is the calendar year, that is Jan to June. Okay, don't get confused. This is the calendar year. So in these calendar years, how many ever IPOs have been offered over the global? Okay, over the world, not just in any particular country, entire world. How many ever IPO offering has taken place? In that, if you see here, National Stock Exchange ranks the 4th rank. Okay, it is in the 4th rank. So NSE, if you see the National Stock Exchange, it has raised around 5.51 billion through the IPO. This IPO has happened in the first half of the calendar year 2025. It has been placed in the 4th position globally. And how much has it raised? It has raised 5.51 billion. And this 5.51 billion, if you see, it accounts for 8.9% of the total global IPO fundraising. So in this calendar year, first half of the calendar year, around 61.95 billion has been raised through IPO. Okay, and this 5.5 billion accounts for 8.9% of the total IPO in that particular calendar year. Next is about an appointment. So the Government of India, based on the recommendation of FSIB, the FSIB gives the recommendation to the Government of India, and finally the Government of India is the one that appoints, okay, key directors. So you have to tell me in the comment section what is the full form of FSIB. Please mention the full form of FSIB. Okay, so Government of India has appointed R. Doraiswamy as the new MD and CEO of LIC, Life Insurance Corporation. For Life Insurance Corporation, R. Doraiswamy will be the new MD and CEO. So he has been the MD and CEO with effect from July 15, 2025. From July 15, he has been the MD and CEO of the LIC, and his term currently is for 3 years. Next is LIC has tied up with AU Small Finance Bank for what? For bank assurance. So everyone will be knowing what is bank insurance, right? So here if you see, the LIC can sell their various life insurance products to the AU Small Finance Bank. So now it will have access to the customer base of the AU Small Finance Bank. It can now sell its products to the AU Small Finance Bank customers. Next is also about an appointment. So now there's a new person appointed for the MD and CEO of the GIFT City. Okay, now GIFT City has a new MD and CEO, and his name is Sanjay Kaul. Sanjay Kaul will be the MD and CEO of GIFT City, and his tenure is for 3 years. So he will be replacing Tapan Rai. Okay, so Sanjay Kaul will be replacing Tapan Rai. Next is Karnataka Bank has appointed Raghavendra Srinivas Bhatt as the interim MD and CEO. Okay, so he was currently, before making this appointment, he was the COO of Karnataka Bank. Now he will become the MD and CEO of this Karnataka Bank Limited. COO is Chief Operating Officer. Next is the Tokyo-based Sumitomo Mitsui Financial Group, that is SMFG, and the SBI Holdings. Together, they have launched a joint venture. But what is this purpose of this joint venture? The purpose is to manage the wealth of the affluent, of the rich people, of the HNI people. That is the purpose of this joint venture. So what will they do? They will provide wealth management services to whom? To affluent individuals in Japan. Remember, to affluent, to HNI people, to the rich people in Japan, they will provide wealth management services. That is the purpose of this joint venture, and the two parties involved here are SMFG, Tokyo-based SMFG, and SBI Holdings. Next is Exim Pay. It is a fintech, cross-border fintech company. It has received an approval. Okay, this is an in-principle approval, not a final approval from the Reserve Bank of India for the payment aggregator cross-border export and import activities. Sometimes they will, if you see many of the fintech companies, they have requested for the payment aggregator license. Some would have requested only for export only payment aggregator. Some would have requested for import only, and some would have requested for export and import. There are these many categories. Okay, for the cross-border I am telling. So here if you see, this fintech company has requested for both export and import activities. It will perform the cross-border transaction. For that purpose, it has got in principle, not final. Next is RBI issues revised rules for the agricultural and small business loan against gold and silver. Now, what is this news? This is news nothing but there is something called collateral free loan, right? What is collateral free loan? A collateral need not be submitted. Okay. Now, sometimes what happens is that sometimes the person who is asking for a collateral free loan, they might voluntarily, submit gold or silver. Why does this happen? See, sometimes what happens if there is an MSME, it is just starting now, or if it is an agriculture loan, what if that borrower thinks that that person may not provide loan against this MSME, against this agriculture purpose. I have gold with me, so I will give gold, and for against that kindly sanction this agriculture loan or the MSME loan. So previously if you see, banks did not accept the gold or silver under the collateral free loan, okay, even if the customers had submitted voluntarily, because bank thought that it was against the RBI's rules, because it is collateral free. Collateral free means you shouldn't accept any collateral and you should give that loan. So bank hesitated to accept the gold and silver that the borrowers had provided voluntarily. But now RBI has confirmed that the banks can accept gold and silver for providing agriculture and small business collateral free. Remember, collateral free loans, if at all the customer provides it voluntarily. If the customer itself is willingly providing that gold and silver, then the banks can accept it. It is not a violation. That has been issued by the Reserve Bank of India. So, the Reserve Bank of India has told that the gold and silver can be accepted for collateral free agriculture and MSME loans. So, if you know the limit under the MSME and PMEG, that is Pradhan Mantri Employment Generation Program, up to 10 lakhs collateral free loan can be provided. So, under this you can accept gold and silver, and also under the agriculture and allied activities if you see, the limit is, the collateral free loan limit is 2 lakhs. Previously this was 1.6 lakhs. Previously the collateral free loan limit under the agriculture and allied activities, it was 1.6 lakhs. Then in December 2024 it was increased to 2 lakhs. Okay. So, if at all a borrower submits gold or silver voluntarily, willingly under this collateral free loan, then the banks can accept. It is not a violation. So, this direction has been issued by the Reserve Bank of India. The next news about India's retail inflation. So, the NSO generally every month it releases this inflation data. NSO works under Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation. Okay. So, it has released the CPI data for June 2025. So, that has gone down. So, from 2.82% in May 2025, it has gone down to 2.1%. So, this if you see, it is 75-month low. It is almost 75-month low. So, since after Jan 2019, this is the lowest that the India has observed. Okay. Next, WPI, that is Wholesale Price Index, if you see, that has also gone down. That is from 0.39%, it has gone to minus 0.13%. Okay. So, from 0.39%, it has gone down to minus 0.13%. This is the Wholesale Price Index. Previous one is the CPI. You just have to remember the June data. Okay. Here, if you see WPI, you just have to remember the trend. That is more than enough. Here, it is a negative trend. And June, it is 2.10, almost 75-month low. Next, rural inflation, if you see, it has gone down from compared to May 2025. So, here it is 1.72%. And urban inflation, if you see, that has also gone down. That is, it is 2.56%. So, the urban inflation is more than the rural inflation, and both urban and rural inflation, they have come down compared to May 2025. Here, you don't have to remember the numbers, remember the trend. Okay, remember that urban inflation is more than the rural, and both urban and rural, they have come down compared to May 2025. Even the overall inflation has come down compared to May 2025. Next is food. So if you see the food price index, that it has also come down to 1.06%. Remember, the food price index is 1.06% for June 2025. Next, the top 5 states with highest inflation, if you see, first 6.71%, Kerala, second Punjab 4.67%, next Jammu Kashmir 4.38%, followed by Uttarakhand 3.4%, and then Haryana 3.1%. Here, just remember Kerala, that is more than enough. Next is CTBC. CTBC is a Taiwanese commercial bank. Okay, it is a Taiwan-based commercial bank. It has planned or proposed to set up an IFSC banking unit. Okay, so we know what is IFSC, right? It is there in the GIFT City. So it has planned to set up the IFSC banking unit at GIFT City. So this, if you see, it is the second Taiwanese bank. The first Taiwanese bank was Taipei Fubin Commercial Bank. Taipei Fubin Commercial Bank was the first Taiwanese bank. Now followed by CTBC plan. CTBC Bank is planned to set up an IBU unit in the GIFT City. Next is IRDA panel recommends ban on the merger between insurers and non-insurers. So here if you see the IRDAI, it has set up a panel that was led by the Dinesh Kumar Kara. So he was the ex-SBI chairman. Okay. So he, under the panel, they have prohibited or they have recommended the banning on merger between insurance and non-insurance companies. So they have told that insurance and non-insurance companies should not be merged and we prohibit the merging. And which panel did it do? So the panel that is headed by Dinesh Kumar Kara, who is nothing but Next is IRDA panel headed by Dinesh Kumar Kara. He was the ex-SBI chairman. So they recommended the prohibition or they recommended the ban on merger between insurance and non-insurance company. So they had finally recommended that insurance and non-insurance company should not be merged. It is not good, and that is what this panel has recommended.
Thank you for watching the session. I hope you had enjoyed it. We're also available in Telegram under the name AffairsCloud_official. We also have an Instagram handle. Thank you.